So I bought this motor from a gentleman on Craigslist for the sole purpose of shooting a video to demonstrate the fixed bolt I developed for the front timing chain guide when the upper bolt breaks off in the cylinder head. But I found a new problem that we'll get to in a little bit, but there's the issue. That's the lower guide bolt that broke off into the engine block there. So, to get back to the timing chain upper guide bolt that breaks off, there's the access plug hole, and there is behind there the threads for the upper guide bolt. Now this one did not shear off in the head, but it did back completely out. If you see, the timing chain wore some wild grooves into it, but all the threads are still on it. It's not the common occurrence from what I have experienced and others who have been emailing me about this bolt. So here's the bolt. It has a 10mm hex head machined into it, so you can fit a torque wrench with a shallow 10mm head on it quite easily between the cylinder head and the engine mount. And it's got a nice O-ring on there to give it a good seal, so you're not relying on any type of thread sealant to keep the oil from coming out of that hole there. And basically, it just threads right in to the original access plug hole. If I can get the thread started. And that O-ring leaves a little bit of a gap there. And all you got to do is torque it down. And it gives you the proper spacing for your new guide to go between the cylinder head and the outer shoulder right here of the bolt to hold it nice and tight against the side of that cylinder head. Just as a side note, I wanted to point out that right here there's a small gap between the very end of this bolt and the cylinder head. That gap serves a very important purpose. Sometimes when these bolts shear off in the head, they leave some burrs that aren't flush with that original land for the cylinder head. So I left a small gap there to try and take care of that, the burrs that stick out, so you don't have to reach down there with a file and get metal shavings down into the motor. So there is a reason for the gap there. I had one gentleman ask me about that, who bought one from me a couple months ago, and I'm working out perfect for him. He was just curious as to why there was a gap there. So I wanted to just put this quick insert into this video and just explain as to why that's left there. It's just to leave a little bit of clearance in case there's a burr or a piece of marring or something on that cylinder head that wouldn't allow that bolt to get completely tight and cause issues down the road. I'll have a link in the description to my email if you guys are interested in buying these. I've been selling quite a few. But just shoot me an email and I'll send you an invoice over PayPal and get one shipped out to you. I'm doing 2-day shipping on these. On eBay, I'm selling them for $55 a piece plus $10 shipping and handling. But if we go through PayPal, it'll save me some of those eBay fees, so I'll be able to extend that discount to you guys. Back to this bottom bolt here. I've never seen this, but if it happened once, it probably happened again. And I am going to get with my machinist tomorrow, and we're going to figure out some sort of a bracket that we can bolt on, maybe to that balance shaft guide right here, and that uses both bolts and extends up, and have a drill bushing here to drill that hole out and insert new threads into it. So I'm going to try and develop that over the next day or so, and you'll see another video of what I come up with. I'll start making those as well. But this is a huge common problem. I bought a Cobalt, had this issue, and did some research. I found a guy who was making these bolts, and I was having a hard time finding any information on them, so I just went ahead and got with my machinist, and we started developing these. Looks like from his design he had a big hex on there and just used thread sealant to seal it off, but I went with a smaller hex so you could fit a nice torque wrench in there to torque them down to 50 foot-pounds and use that O-ring to keep the oil from coming out. But every time, each purchase of the bolt, I got a complete set of directions for it with pictures and instructions on how to make sure that this is getting installed properly, and will last you quite a while. But there it is. And here is the original guide that just came out of this motor, broken in 2 places, and this is the new guide here that you know, obviously this one's missing something. I don't know where the heck it went. I think it fell down into the oil pan somewhere down in here, but I can't find it. So she gone. This is Ted from Havoc Industries. Thanks for watching.